What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 20 of my Total Warhammer 3 modded Arkhan the Black campaign. So as we left off last time, Mad Mulletson of the Churning Gulf Raiders, a seaborne rogue army, has attacked King Rakash, who was trying to chase down the Skaven that tried to sack Pyrrhus, and by the looks of it are trying to go and do so again. And this looks like it's going to be a pretty interesting battle, as the enemy has a more elite army than we do, with armored skin wolves, a frostworm and a feral mammoth, as well as a couple of marauder champions. That armor and those stats is incomparable better to most of the stuff we have here, so it's going to be interesting to see how much we can do, and without hopefully taking too much damage. Before we get started, however, being the 20th episode, this is a 5th episode in the series, and I'd just like to use the time to remind you guys not to forget to drop those likes and comments below if you've been enjoying this particular Let's Play, as scheduling and episode length is based on engagement. Other than that, here we go. Let's hope that this is a great battle. Alrighty, here we go. You know what I love about the Tomb Kings, or just not even just the Tomb Kings, but really all the factions that are down in the desert? It's these maps. They're so bright, and they're often not full of trees and stuff. While that does limit your tactical options to some degree, I just love the fact that you can see everything and enjoy the spectacle of these battles. Granted, if every battle was an open field like this, it would be quite boring at the end of the day, but I do love the change of pace. Anyway, the Frostworm's going to move in, and he's going to get to that Dragon Breath, or Frostworm Breath, or whatever what is its breath called? Is it just Frostworm Breath? It's Frost... Close enough. It's gonna breathe on our skeleton spears up front, and is actually gonna take more than half of their HP off. However, rather than flying away and allowing for the rest of its army to move in and support it, it looks like the Frostworm actually wants to drop down and start attacking, by the looks of it, our Tomb King here. So the Tomb King, together with the Crypt Horrors and the skeleton spears, who provide anti-large, Tomb King providing poison, or rather the Crypt Horrors providing poison, and our Lord attacking the dragon, or the Frostworm. This should go fairly well for us. We are absolutely going to take advantage of these extra seconds. We're even going to move our, not corpse carts, our black coaches in. Even though they're not really meant for this sort of thing, they can do at least a little bit more damage to the Frostworm. Ideally, if we can surround it, we can kill it here, or at the very least shatter it before it can run away. In the meantime, the enemy Lord is moving in as well towards our front line, and just a quick show of what we've got set up. We've got our direwolves all the way in the back. They can't really contribute to this fight because they can't even hit enemy berserkers in the back, as they would just get ripped apart. I tried to say wrecked and then ripped apart in one word. They wouldn't get ripped until they ate a lot. But yeah, so they would have to wait until an enemy actually routed in order to contribute. We also have two sets of Crypt Ghouls here, mostly just to support the main line, especially as it is rather weak and only has a very limited amount of skeleton spears. We've also separated a unit of spears and Crypt Horrors specifically to go after this feral mammoth. And then lastly, the Cairn Wraiths are out here to try to take out the armored skin wolves and the feral mammoth as well. Both the skin wolves and the mammoth lack magic attacks, so we're not super worried about the Cairn Wraiths getting hurt, and together with the ghouls or with the horrors and the poison, I think that they should be able to take care of them just fine. Alrighty, that's about it for the setup. Let's watch the rest of the battle. Looks like the Frostworm is in fact pretty much broken. And here comes the Marauder, or here come the Marauders, the Berserkers, and the Marauder Champions somewhere in there, I'm sure, as well. Enemy letting their Marauder Hunters throw their axes at us, probably targeting the larger units like the Crypt Horrors, though they should have enough of an HP pool to survive that for quite a while. We are going to try to chase down the enemy Frostworm, though it's looking like it's going to move through the armored skin wolves, which should be able to hold it back. Armored skin wolves are anti-large as well, so they should be able to do decent damage to our Crypt Horrors, though with our mainline support and the fact that we have black coaches here, I'm thinking that we have a reasonable shot. Ooh, there we go. Black Coach charging through the enemy line, getting lots of enemy units knocked around. How much damage does it do? Let's see, we got 15 kills and 5,200 damage. Not really all that much so far. In fact, much less than the Crypt Ghouls, unfortunately. And that said, at least the Black Coaches are extremely tanky, and they do get stronger over time with all the various stuff that they get with more than a threshold of kills. In addition to that, the enemy Mammoth is already broken, and so are the Skin Wolves. Our Cairn race really doing their job, and this is one of the reasons we're really trying hard to get more of those Cairn Wraith buildings, the Desecrated Sepulchres, up and running. Really nice to have these in a few more armies, and of course build an army around them in general. And of course the Mortis engines, but we won't see those until we're at tier 5, unless Vlad gets to tier 5 faster than we do, and maybe we can steal a few from him. I do wonder, does the, so we have the buffs from Arkhan's faction, right, on all of our Tomb Kings that buff vampiric units. I wonder, do they also buff vampiric units that we take from our allies, or do they also buff, or do they only buff our own? I gotta actually test that out. I feel like I mused upon this earlier at some point, but then I forgot to actually physically test it. Anyway, it looks like the battle's going fairly well with the enemy elites out of the picture, the Mammoth and the Skin Wolves on both flanks gone. The balance of power moves to about 80% in our favor. We still have Berserkers and Marauder champions to kill, but it is going pretty well. In addition to that, it looks like our Dire Wolves can in fact contribute to the fight now, although one did get hurt by charging or clipping an enemy unit. So we're just gonna back it off, wait for it to heal up a little bit via either Realm of Souls or via casting. And then we'll move it right back in. Over on this side, the Marauder Champions are ripping one of our Skeleton Warrior units apart, or our Skeleton Spear units, or rather, but that's just fine. We're perfectly willing to sacrifice Skeleton Spears for this, as we can easily replace them in one turn once we move back into our own territory. And though we do want to be careful about taking too much damage, or else we get so hurt that we can't chase down those Skaven. Alrighty, there we go, and now that the Mammoth has dropped in the background, the Cairn Wraiths and the Crypt Wars that were taking care of it can move in on these Marauder Champions. The rest of the enemy main line is looking like it's beginning to collapse. The enemy Lord is getting wrecked by our Tomb King together with his Crypt Horror retinue, and I do believe the battle is actually just about to be ours. Very, very nice. It's essentially devolved into three smaller skirmishes, or separate skirmishes, or rather than one massive battle. I'm going to try to chase down that Lord, continue poisoning him with the Crypt Horrors, and the Tomb King is probably faster than him, so he should be able to chase him down. Looks like the fear and the terror from the Cairn Knights and the Black Coach, I want to say as well, has managed to see those Marauder Champions off, and with that, the battle is ours. Let's see. Oh, and the enemy Lord just dropped to our Tomb King as well. It did take about 600 units of damage, though I believe two units of Skeleton Spears made up the bulk of that, because they're basically done for. One just straight up died, and then the other one is going to continue crumbling. And we are going to let it, i.e. we still have to chase down as many enemy units as we can, and even though that'll cost us this extra unit, we're going to allow this. If it was something like a Black Coach or a Crypt Core, we would just end it and then chase these guys afterwards, but not like this. I really do find it strange that units can continue to crumble apart after the battle is over. Like, that really shouldn't be a thing. Crumbling should stop once battle outcome is decided. We know that healing is now changed to stop once battle outcome decided. It seems strange that crumbling is not part of that. Now, I suppose I can see the concept of a unit as an individual model actually continuing to crumble, because it suffered so much damage individually that the dark magic is leaking out of it and it can no longer sustain its form. So like a Vargulf or whatever, well actually no, a Vargulf would regenerate, that probably wouldn't happen to it, being a conduit of Dar and all, but another unit, Terrorgeist also has regeneration. Some kind of single unit, say Hyro Titan, okay? Then maybe I can see that happening, but with a unit with lots of models, Why would a unit of 30 units of skeletons all crumble away once the battle is over? It kind of doesn't make sense. But anyway, that's been something around since game 1, so I doubt it's ever gonna change. Alrighty, there we go, not too bad. The Frostworm did survive, but with very low HP, and one of the units of Skinwolves did get away. But otherwise, most of the army has been destroyed. We did have to sacrifice a couple of our skeleton spears, but I feel like that can be considered a bargain. We can get 3k for this. It's not bad. We need more money, ever more money, to finance our ever-growing pyramid collection. Sacrifice to Mathland performed for Hag Grief. King Jocked ambush foiled, alas, but does that matter for us right now? Maybe, maybe not. Tic-tac-toe. What if we could ambush you? I don't see Thorek nearby. And we got that defeated Volkmar trait for Araru, which means I guess we'll be using Tomb Guard with his Ushabti to hold the line. Melee attack +4, and okay, that's sort of slang, that's fine. Somtek's got a Cultist, and that's about it. Alrighty, now, how close is our next pyramid construction? Mostly I want to see when we get our... he's going for Fires again. When we get our capacity increase for heroes. Not yet. I'd really love to get this extra Necrotect. I'm almost tempted to spend the Canopic Jars to unlock a new one, just to make sure that we get it. But we don't even have the 200 jars, though we will shortly. Alright, we'll have to see about that one. Now, several things to do. King Araru, I wanted you to recruit stuff, but you, I guess, are not going to be able to. You're going to have to go after Bernhard here and kill him. Should be auto-resolvable. In fact, briefly... Oh, wait, you have no Vampire. Well, I guess no, you do have some Vampire Coons. Briefly go into this stance. Attack him here. He cannot run, so we'll auto-resolve him. Alright, and we will take, you know what, for that I think we'll take the Canopic Jars, and there we go. Now we have over 200, should we need to. We can also attack Sudenburg if we wanted to. It's got some pretty solid defenses, but would they be able to overcome our Ushabti? Probably not, I would say. This is a pretty good chance. I was really hoping that they would kill the Drakenhof Conclave for us, but not so far. Maybe we should try to force the Drakenhof Conclave into a war with Bowman of Orion, but then they'll just bypass him and go for us, as the AI loves to do. I'll think about it. Anyway, Jocked, you are going to go here, and you're going to move towards Tic-Tac-Toe in order to hopefully ambush him as he tries to head for the Springs of Eternal Life. Oh, he's got that Dino summoned army. The Salamanders in particular are very dangerous to our troops because they have the fire weakness that basic undead do have. Nonetheless, what else can we do about this situation? Probably not much, because we don't have any other armies down here at the current time. That's okay, though. Rakash, do you need to destroy the remains of Mulletson's force? You probably would like to, but you can't reach him, which means we have to go after this force instead. You are going to level up. Or wait. Yeah, we need rank 15. I was thinking we save up points for this, but I guess we can start at rank 11 or so. Or maybe 9 if we want to get everything. Really, it's the tribute collectors that we want as fast as possible. You know what, let's get Passage to the Soul Realm for now. There's really nothing else that's super important here. You have Devourers of Dead Flesh, mostly because you have a bunch of Crypt Ghouls and Horrors, but I'm not sure what exactly we're going to do with your army as yet, other than the fact that you significantly buff the Horrors, so we'll probably be continuing to use the Ghouls. Passage of the Soul Realm for you, buddy, and let's take out Snickage here. We can't land directly, but that may actually not be a barrier. Let's move right here, and we might be able to land right beside him. I think. I know that you can do this with settlements. Yes, we can. Alright. You done goofed there, Snickage. Let's hope that we can steal some of your items. We're gonna auto-resolve. Mostly because that was a weak and pathetic army, and it was in March stance as well. For this, I think we will take Endless March again. It is 1600 money. And ever do we need money? Oh wow, that was a lot of successful missions. I forgot that we started getting a lot of those. And you could sit here for a couple turns, though I would like you to kill off the remnants of Mullet's force. He's gonna rebuild. On the other hand, I'm sure we'll encounter him again at some point. Do we build your Tomb Guard, or do we build a Tomb Guard for King Araru? I mean, Araru's busy, but he does want the Tomb Guard. Honestly, both of these guys probably want the Tomb Guard.
My will be done.
And as this guy's kind of not really busy right now. Yeah, you know what? Fine. Let's do this. Let us go to 1, 2, 3, 4. And build these. That means you are stuck here, so hopefully we don't find another Skaven stack. In fact, let's just double check missions, just in case somebody offers us... Nah, okay, no dice. No dice. I was hoping somebody would offer us specifically a mission where we could detect any Skaven that may or may not be here. Ibiamos is keeping an eye on things, though. Just want to make sure that there aren't any, like, over here somewhere. Don't see anything. Alrighty. Well, let's just assume that that is reasonably safe for now, though nothing is safe. Nothing's ever safe, is it? Now, what do we do about all this? Gorfang Rotgut, we should probably go after you, though Arkhan would like to leave this place, and I think King Sanakt can watch over it, so you know what? Sanakt, you're gonna move in. Arkhan, this may be a decent time to declare war on the... on Clan Moors and just destroy a couple of their armies, but then you're gonna have to continuously deal with them. On the other hand, they're probably going to attack us as well. How many territories do they have? They do have 3, and they basically have endless armies because it's a Skaven. I feel like either we destroy them now, which strengthens the Bloody Hands, which isn't necessarily a good thing, and strengthens the Court of Libaras. And while he's fighting both, he's probably not going to declare war on us. Yeah, you know what, Arkhan, you're going south. We have a lot of stuff to deal with in the south. In fact, maybe travel through all these territories and go after Thorak through the mountains. Also, if we could get you to join a few more wars, we're so close to that non-aggression pact with the Last Defenders. Imagine getting an alliance with the Last Defenders as Arkhan. The very concept tickles me. How much money would you want for this? 9,000. Ugh, that's a little bit much. And what don't you like? You don't like our treaties with the Drakenhof Conclave. Unfortunately, we can't do much about that. How much would our gift be to you? 1,500 money, eh? You know what, let's spend our money and see if we have any left. Maybe I'd be willing to give him a small gift. Just enough to get that non-aggression pact. It would be swell. Alrighty, the rest of you are looking good to me. Jock, Sanakt, Araru, you are probably about to attack. In fact, move back into Corrupted Dynasties. And get ready to take out Sudenburg. I don't think Indrakul here can actually manage to take the... pools. No, it's El Kalabad without another army. Even with the weak garrison there. At least I doubt it. He also can't reach it. What might happen is this guy... Ooh. Okay, what might happen is we take Sudenburg and then Indrakul attacks us here together with this army. I got some collateral there as well. Which could be very dangerous for Araru depending on how badly we get hurt taking this. We could also siege it and try to force them all into a field battle. But would that be great for us? I'm not sure. I'll think about it. Let's do the rest of the moves and then let's do the money, as in building, and then we'll see. Head to course, stay here. You need to permanently keep an eye on everything that's going on here. And before I forget, did you level up your priest to level 10? Yes, indeed you did, which means Incantation and Preservation, and more importantly, Keeper of Lore for that extra little bit of research. Because we really do need that. Alright. We're at 175, it's going to drop by 30, but it's still pretty good. 3 more turns and we will have another army on the field. And yeah, we really do need that right now. Gotta get more Lich Priests, gotta get more research that way. And just to speed up the army awakening. Next up, what do we have here? Land of the Dead. You are ready to build if you want the statue, though this was supposed to be a temporary thing. Now that we have access to it in Qatar, we don't actually need it at Khemri. What would we replace it with? We do want access to the Necroserpents, as in more Necroserpents, just tons of Necroserpents everywhere. There's also the possibility of building the burial pits very soon, because the Fated Pyramidion is nearly there, which would give us capacity for a lot of stuff. Just the one Screaming Skull Catapult, but once we max this out, it'll be a lot more stuff. Granted, it'll cost Canopic Jars per turn, but it still feels like it's probably gonna be worth it. Alright, yeah, we'll take out the statue here for now. Pyramid's in 3 turns, or at least this pyramid is in 3 turns. Do we still need the growth building here? Yeah, we probably do, at least for now. At least until Numas and the Springs of Eternal Life are both at tier 3. Once they are, then we can delete this and replace it with something else. Okie dokie, that looks good to me. Next up, what do we have here? That was the Land of the Dead. Al-Haik. We can upgrade the walls further, but it's looking fairly okay. Phyrus, do we need the blood pools here? Hold off on deleting them, I mean, at least for now. And we still have Worship of SF here. Ugh, Public Order. Public Order. Yeah, so problematic. Alrighty, next up, what do we have here? Black Tower of Arkhan. Yes, we do want the actual tower, but for now, it's gonna have to be either a Necroserpent nest or a Fated Pyramidion here. We are building these everywhere. Oh, right, we need to save up to upgrade either El Kalabad or Pools of Despair. Probably El Kalabad, because it's constantly in danger. Which means no Pyramidion as yet. Then, we could do another Desecrated Sepulchre. Yeah, let's do the Desecrated Sepulchre then. And we'll probably be deleting the Ushabti building. The Ushabti building should only be built in lower tier places, as in Xandria, Kalabad, or Pools of Despair, not main settlements. Bad place to have them, because they can only go up to tier 3, and frankly the same goes for the Grave Hills, but, you know, we'll deal with that later. We need access to them right now. Wizard Callus Palace, yes to the Necroserpent Nest, we definitely need that. Black Pyramid of Nagash. I have been meaning to delete the Crypt Barracks here in place of another Fated Pyramidion. It offers nothing but an additional 1 Tomb Guard capacity, but I guess we can wait until these guys are built up so that we can maintain the capacity. Alternatively, we build this here, but meh. Feels like a waste of money at the current time. Alrighty, Def Gorge and Gorgazan. We still, I think, need the Charnel Plazas here. Although, I don't like how this place doesn't have walls, you know what? So let's delete 1 Charnel Plaza. And we'll keep the rest. Also, how's the garrison looking? Nah, still need to maintain the Worship of Joff. Alrighty, Vulture Mountain, you're at +7, but -3. Okay, so, I'm gonna keep you as you are for now as well. Great Desert, you can no longer do anything. I guess we can switch you out of Worship of Asaf if we really wanted to. Can't collect income, because we want to maintain the max public order, which means, honestly, most of these are pretty useless. There's no faction-wide buffs. I guess Petra, just in case we actually enter this province, and we can switch to the defense one if somebody actually attacks us. And then lastly, Southern Badlands, Galbaraz, you can just get a growth building for now to grow that little bit faster. And we'll build the walls up there and hope we can hold it. The public order is still going to be very problematic. In fact, wait, at tier 2, the walls can go up anyway. Growth or not, I think we actually need a public order more. So blood pools it is. Because it's -4 and that corruption ain't going to go down for probably quite a long time. At least until we take these provinces. And since we can't hold them right now, we're just plain not gonna. Alrighty, everybody else has a move. Let's do Diplo and then let's attack once again. Let's see what we got here.
Darkness.
Non-aggression pact with Scourge of Cain and Templehof, Worldwalkers, meh, don't care about all that. Harganeth, you're near to a military alliance. But maybe we don't want to declare war on anybody else for a little while. Though we shall see. Musia, don't care about you, at least not at the current time. You want a military alliance, Barrow Legion, and the rest of you. No?
Fear. I'm ready.
Ancestral Throng wants peace, but that's not gonna happen. And I forget, did we peace out with the Bleak Holds? Because we can declare war on them once we're ready. Let's see. Declare war. 9 turns, okay, yeah, okay. Yes. And then same with Clan Gritus. Gotta figure out who else we can declare war on that these guys don't like. We can declare war on Mazda. We are at war with them. Okay, then never mind. And then never mind, I guess we're good with Diplo at least for now. Let's head to the next attack, which is gonna be here at the capital. And let's do the point assigning and any items that we have to spare, because you're gonna need to fight, man. Sword of Swift Sighing, Talisman of Endurance, sure. Oh, what does Arkhan have in terms of how he has an Opal Amulet? Well, you have the Talisman of Endurance briefly, at least for this. And then you can have a Gleaming Pennant, I guess. Man, we have like no items and no ancillaries. It's so bizarre. Alrighty, and the rest of this looks fairly good. One more point in Revered Stone Masonry, of course, because this is an Ushabti army. You are maybe going to keep these ghouls? I'm still not sure about that one. So I don't think we can apply that point to Grand Vizier's command until we decide. So we'll keep it as we currently are. Then instead we can get either Unyielding or Martial Discipline, Indomitable Will, Return and Madness of free 7% physical resistance. That's a pretty good 1 point, so yeah, let's do that. And it's time to upgrade the rest of you and then hit Sudenburg. You are obviously getting Restore to buff up those Ushabti. Too bad we don't have the other Ushabti buffs, but we'll get them eventually. And then you, so close to rank 10. But for now... also too far away from the incantation of a Skullstorm, which would have really helped here, but oh well. Let's do... We do spam these a lot, but I think if we're gonna go Skullstorm, we might as well go through Evasion. We won't be able to get that anyway next turn, because we'll go for Keeper of Lore first, but eventually. Alright. That looks good. You are in your Corrupted Dynasties, so let's hit the place. Well, let's see what we can do. We can put the Gleaming Pennant on our Lord. Hopefully he doesn't dissipate and die, or crumble apart and die. Let's take out the capital of the Cult of Sigmar as punishment for for failing to kill Drakenhof. Alrighty, here we go. Finally, we have reached Sudenburg. It's been a while. We've been eyeing the place for quite some time. In the early game, when we first defeated Volkmar, right before we peaced out with him, we had the potential, I suppose, to actually go in and take the settlement for ourselves. But once again, I wanted to preserve Volkmar so that we could get his defeat rate on more lords, and I also really didn't want the Drakenhof Conclave to get too strong, as they were occupying territories that we want. On top of that, Kosovar specifically has a territory that has a pyramid, which means we cannot get our final technologies for our faction unlocked until we actually get that. So yeah, we're gonna have to keep an eye on it. Anyway, we're going to start the battle with our Screaming Skull Catapults, our debut for them, as we haven't had a lot of chances to use these guys so far, and we have very limited capacity for them. And they're going to knock down some towers for us, and it looks like the first is about to crumble away. I'm just going to watch this one crumble, and then we'll speed through the rest, as we do have 4 to work through. And of course, our Screaming Skull Catapults aren't the only ones doing anything. The Casket of Souls is also firing over at some units in there somewhere. Periodically, anyway. There it goes. And come on, knock that tower down. It's already covered in goo. Ectoplasm, whatever. And down it goes. Alrighty, I just wanted to see the destruction animation. 3 more to go, but that we can certainly speed through. It looks like the Casket of Souls is also dishing out some decent damage here, having a unit of crossbows and about a quarter damage to one of the units of halberdiers. Not an ideal angle for it, and I think it's at the limit of its range, which generally speaking is actually a little bit problematic, as the projectiles do spread out quite a lot. But I guess that's generally the problem with the unit. It's already quite strong, and if the projectiles didn't spread out even more, then it would be obnoxiously overpowered. It's a little bit like a Hellstorm rocket battery. Anyway, that thing can keep it up. We got another 2 towers to go here, and then we are gonna be into the settlement. Now, I want to point out one thing before we go. We do have a Bright Wizard here, which is certainly threatening to a few units, and a Mortar, though we are going to be switching to targeting the Mortar with our artillery. But while these guys are here, the enemy has actually kept back its elites, together with its lord, all the way at the start, at the Victory Plaza, and has also built its 2 towers here. Kind of a bizarre choice, to be perfectly frank, as all these guys would be really helpful at maintaining the gate or holding the gate, rather than holding up in the citadel. It's almost like the enemy knows it's fighting a losing battle and has no chance to win here, so it's sacrificed these units and just tried to hole up here. Very bizarre. I wonder what causes the AI to do this, because obviously we've seen quite a few battles in this campaign, and for those watching others and others, where the enemy doesn't do this and actually moves all of its units to where they need to be. Maybe it knows that we have hidden units that are the Crypt Ghouls, and it thinks that maybe we could get them around and into their city and then capture the Victory Plaza before they realize it. I have no idea. Just interesting. Anyway, the bombardment continues. Looks like we got a few more nice shots into the enemy blob of units here. If they're going to blob up like this, we're certainly going to take advantage, though it'll mostly have to be the casket that does so, as we are pretty much out of ammunition on our Screaming Skull catapult. In fact, I think that was, in fact, the last shot. Fortunately, we did manage to see the mortar off, so our units are no longer in danger from that sort of fire, and we can move the rest of our army up to start working on the gate. It was quite a long bombardment, and definitely took some time, but it's okay because it'll be worth it to not suffer too many casualties. As we've already noticed, there are armies belonging to the Lizardmen very much nearby, and I'd really prefer not to get this army so damaged that they can come in and kill us right after. Anyway, we're going to start working on the gate, and then it'll be the Ushabti up front, and while the enemy is going to move some units in to try to fight them, all they will do is get into the meat grinder. Going into the little tunnel like this, like where the gate is, when it's full of Ushabti, seems like a very bad idea, just in general. Anyway, our White King, whether fortunate or unfortunate, did move through the gate and past it, and is now stuck on this side of the battlefield. He is completely surrounded by halberdiers poking away at his undead steed with their anti-large weaponry, but he is fairly hard to bring down. Without great swords and without the enemy lord here, I don't think he's all that concerned. On top of the fact that over time, we just gave him 1 unit of Job's Incantation of Cursed Blaze, or 1 cast. We can A, keep doing that, and B, just repeatedly keep casting to heal him up. On top of that, it looks like our lord is stuck on this side of the map as well, or this side of the gate, so the two will be working on all these halberdiers together, while the Ushabti slowly try to break down the gate. It actually looks like the Ushabti that are stuck on this side of the gate aren't actually able to attack it. But gates have always been pretty screwy in Total Warhammer. If it hasn't changed now, I doubt it ever will. Probably not a priority to change gate behavior and the pathing around the gates either. And that open-close thing, that does things like this. Our Lord Nero really shouldn't be in here. Alrighty, well, let's see how we're doing here. The enemy halberdiers, or at least one of them, is pretty darn badly beat up at below half HP. We've also moved in our own archers, who have taken out a unit of crossbows, but are now going to have to back off because they have less range than the other unit, which can currently attack them pretty much with impunity. The gate is at about half HP, actually a little bit more, so we got plenty more time to watch our White King and our Tomb King. Our two kings, they just fight the halberdiers. At least they're having fun, I'm sure. And once again, we're keeping them topped up in terms of healing just by casting cheap spells with the Lore of Nehekara. Granted, the Lore of Nehekara doesn't really heal all that much, well, it's better than nothing. And there we go, another, I believe that's a physical resistance, and Aru's protection. And then as soon as that's up, or at least as soon as the passive is up in terms of healing, then we'll pop Job's Incantation of Cursed Blades again. Alrighty, well, the battle is going to continue like this for a while. You guys let me know how much you want to actually watch of stuff like that, because, like, we could watch them just smack halberdiers around for 3 minutes straight, but it's a little bit boring, I think, without the other units, and so I'm just going to speed it up until the gate is broken through. And we are getting some shots on the enemy crossbows now, who have foolishly moved up to go on this barrier. And this just makes them into a target, as our own range units can finally reach them. The enemy really should have taken advantage of the fact that it has greater range on its crossbows than our archers do on their bows. Alrighty, and like this, our 3 units will be able to knock the rest of these crossbows out. In addition to that, it looks like the gate has fallen in the back. No, another 4,000 HP. It's getting there, though. It's getting there, and it looks like one of the halberdiers has been killed nearly to a man now. So good job to the White King and the Tomb King. Alrighty, and the crossbows retreat, and no more need to shoot them with our range attacks. And the gate is at 1,000 HP and will be soon broken. There it goes. Finally, we're through, and the Ushabti enter the fray. Looks like we're getting a fireball on us from the Bright Wizard, who is kind of standing around watching over this. And we're just going to try to essentially mass our way through. There we go. And there's that Corpse Guard as well to buff everybody up with some nice Vigor Mortis. And swing those Kopeshes down, beautiful. They may be anti-large halberdiers, but they stand no chance against this pile of Ushabti, especially with Job's Incantation of First Place causing extra damage, or increasing the Ushabti's damage, and giving them bleed on their attacks as well. Minute or so of this, and the Ushabti will get broken through. Really poor defense of the capital here. Once again, the enemy really could have used its greatswords and its Archlector here. Though the Archlector is not high enough level to provide the Shield of Faith and the Soulfire. I don't remember what level you get Hammer of Sigmar, but I feel like he also doesn't have it. He's level 3. Yeah, he doesn't have it either. Alright, so not really all that concerning. And our flock of Jaw flies overhead. They're actually going to drop their bombs on the enemy crossbows here right before and jumping down on them, or dropping down on them as well. You gotta love the models of these guys, the glowing, fiery glow, I suppose, on the Carrion. And while it's going to take them some time, they will be ripping those crossbows apart. They're 43, 47, so their stats aren't too bad, though their armor is a little bit low. And yeah, their HP is okay. They're actually taking a surprising amount of damage from the crossbows, all things considered. If their melee attack was as high as, or melee defense rather, was as high as the bats, I feel like they would be taking less damage here. But we also got to consider the fact that there's only 20 of them, rather than, I want to say, 120 on a Feldbat unit. High numbers on the Feldbat unit. Whereas these guys, obviously every single model, individual model, will get surrounded and attacked by a bunch of units. Fortunately, the crossbows will not be enough to kill it, although it looks like a fireball will come in and knock one of the flock down. Maybe we can resurrect it later with the Cask of Soul, or the Realm of Souls, or possibly the Nehekara lore. These guys also have the same weakness to fire as well, which is, I guess, not so great when they're fighting potentially against the Bright Wizard. Alright, just gonna chase off those crossbows and then we're gonna back out. In the meantime, the gate has obviously been broken through and only the Empire captain still fights. I'm just gonna take a few seconds to try to spread our army out and move towards the next enemies that are still blocking the way. Looks like we're going to take the captain out as well. There we go, the White King and the Tomb King. Still the best of friends. And Ushabti helping them out with him as well. And there we go, I do believe that we'll have shattered or routed the enemy hero, broken for now, but will shatter soon as well, I'm sure. Alrighty, now we're just going to move around the enemy, and hello Halberdiers, you're coming in. It looks like you didn't see your friends get killed by all the Ushabti, so you're going to try yourselves. Try your own hand at it. Yeah, just the Halberdiers alone are not enough. You need a unit of Halberdiers to hold the large units while a unit of handgunners shoots them in the face over the heads of our unit. Of the Halberdier unit, I mean. I keep saying our unit because of the Empire campaign going on. At the same time, it does get confusing when you're fighting a faction that you're then playing with in a little bit after that. Alrighty, and it looks like the Ushabti have pretty much cleared out this unit of Halberdiers. They are down to half HP, and while they're eager and active, I don't imagine they will be so for much longer. The crossbows that were at this barrier have also collapsed, and our crypt ghouls can now move in and help out with those Halberdiers. Not that they really need to, mind you. Oh, this guy goes flying. Some nice air on that. And the Necrotect is helping out his Ushabti as well. Nice to see him on the field. Ooh, very nice. Was that a sword swing, or did he just whip somebody's head off? Well, you keep it up, Necrotect. We need more characters with whip-type weapons. I like the fact that the Necrotect has one. Alrighty, and there we go. The Halberdiers are out. Our lords are hunting down and have broken the enemy Bright Wizard as well, but frankly, this was not something that he was going to have a good chance of fighting. And he should be down shortly. There we go. That was a pretty bloody end for him. Now, we have completely broken into the enemy city, and only the enemy lord, the enemy archlector, together with his great sword retinue remains. Bright sword because bright shield, which is a unit that we have. Like I said, it's starting to get confusing. I guess the biggest threat on the field is actually now not going to be the Greatswords or the Archlector, because they just don't have the massive units needed to contend with us, but rather these two towers. Now, they're going to be the bigger problem. It'll be up to the Flock of Job to hopefully take them out before they get taken out themselves, as we should be wary of the Explosive Tower in particular, and its ability to knock them down. Alrighty, rest of the army is slowly moving up. We were just taking a few of these supply locations while we go, although as I understand it, there's now no actual point in doing this, is there? Let's see, wait, this building has Siege Defender buffs. Wait. This one seems to have nothing. Okay, so these minor supply locations don't have anything, but the key buildings at the very least do. So those do need to be captured. And I guess the Victory Plaza as well, but that's obviously a different issue. Anyway, the Flock of Joff is now attacking that explosive tower, and our Ushabti have moved up, with the enemy Greatswords moving in, about to fight them as well. Not also the best idea here, popping out of this barrier into the piles of Ushabti, where they can just swing away at you. Well, good luck to you, Greatswords. You really didn't contribute to the defense of the gate, only to die like this. This is basically just like jumping down into a giant blender. I mean, look at all those Kopeshes, and the Incantation of Cursed Blades as well. Well, credit where it's due. Props to them for being brave enough to obey the Archlector's order to drop into a blender. But whether that's brave or foolish, I'm not entirely sure. Speaking of the Archlector, it looks like he is going to move into this barricade, and will he go through and fight our Tomb King our White King and our Shabti here? Yes, indeed he will. There he is. Alrighty, well, good luck to you, sir. You are most definitely going to need it. Though it would be nice to actually break the barrier so that that wasn't in the way anymore, and then we could go after the other great sword as well. Especially since our Lord and Hero could probably take out the priest or the lector. Alrighty, and here come the great swords, trying to guard their lord, but it's a little bit too late. There's the White King moving in. And I think the barrier is about to go down as well. The splash damage kits should be damaging it, at least a little bit, especially as more enemies move in. Over on this side, it looks like our Shabti have taken care of the unit of great swords that decided to break through, and our Flock of Joth, though badly damaged, as we can see, managed to break down those towers. The last of the enemy units about to go here, and the battle should be just about done. Alrighty, nice kick. Damn. When the Ushabti and Giants and other large units kick a unit to death and, like, explode the unit, is what I'm referring to. Alrighty, and has that balance of power. There it goes, and the Lector breaks, seeing that this was untenable. There was no way he stood any kind of chance against that pile of Ushabti. There we go. On the backs of the Ushabti, we win yet another battle, and it looks like we managed to preserve most of our units here. So if the lizards attack next turn, and I do expect that they will, we should be able to hold them off. Alrighty, there we go. An easy enough battle with the Ushabti taking the lion's share of the kills, other than the Casket of Souls, of course. But otherwise, we primarily preserved most of our units. The Flock of Joth did get a little bit damaged, but that's hardly surprising as they had to go after a tier 4 tower. Still a little bit annoyed about how all the enemies were in the back of the settlement like that, but oh well. I mean, in some ways it does make sense to guard the citadel like that, but on the other hand, why separate your army into tiny bits that we could destroy piecemeal then? Kind of an odd choice, but anyway. What do we have here? Control bonus from the Vault Guards, but otherwise I don't see the purpose of this. We can keep the Avenue of Monuments for now, just because we're going to have to move out of the place, but obviously we will replace it shortly. We also do want to get the wine up and running, but we'll prioritize walls here first, as this place will be in danger from tic-tac-toe pretty much for the entire time. I'm wondering whether we want to actually switch off the Corrupted Dynasties or not. It might be beneficial not to switch it off, because if we get attacked by 3 armies next turn, then that'll be something to contend with. So I think not, at least not for now. Anyway, with that, we are obviously out of time, and I'm going to have to call the episode here. Next time, we continue attacking the Cult of Sigmar, and hopefully take Bagar at the very least, because it does have a great pyramid location, ideally before the Drakenhof Conclave moves down there. I'm hoping if these guys don't go after it, and tic-tac-toe is taken care of, or moves here, King Jocht can move over there. I don't know whether he can actually reach it in his current move speed, or range rather, but I'm hoping that he can. Either way, we'll have to find out about that next time, while Arkhan moves through these territories and takes out Thorek for us, which at the very least, I'm sure that the last defenders will be reasonably happy about. I'd really prefer not to have to trespass through their territory, because that'll make them upset, but I don't see how we have too much of a choice in the matter. I mean, I guess we could walk all the way down this way. I'll think about it. And then lastly, King Rakash is going to rebuild what he has of his army, and he's going to probably go north to Skavenblight. Whether he can defeat them or not remains to be seen, but we'll certainly give it a try. Would prefer not to have to send Arkhan all the way up there while he's busy with everything that's going on down here instead. Anyway, stay tuned for more Tomb Kings. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.